You break through your translucent egg sac, joining hundreds of your siblings as you all hatch into the crushing darkness of the ocean, so deep that the pressure would flatten a submarine like a soda can. This endless black abyss is now your home. You're barely bigger than a grain of rice, a tiny transparent larva drifting helplessly in currents you can't control. Before you even understand what's happening, you see them, the hunters. Shadows moving through shadows. Flashes of light attached to monsters. A lanternfish swoops through your siblings, its mouth open wide like a passenger jet with teeth. Dozens disappear in seconds. Another flash, this time a siphonophore, basically the ocean's version of a floating death rope, dragging more of your family into oblivion. What the actual hell, you think to yourself, watching as your numbers dwindle from hundreds to dozens in minutes. There's no time for mourning, you need to move, but how? Unlike regular fish that swim horizontally like they have somewhere normal to be, your body is designed to swim vertically, head up, tail down. Your first attempts are pathetic. You wiggle awkwardly, fighting against both gravity and the crushing weight of the ocean. The current does most of the work, sweeping you along like a piece of depressed confetti. At least the darkness hides your embarrassing swimming skills from whatever's looking for its next snack. Speaking of snacks, all this running from death has made you hungry. Your tiny stomach growls, but what are you supposed to eat in this ocean full of creatures that want to eat you? That's when you notice it. Tiny particles floating all around you. A snow-like shower of dead stuff from above. It's called marine snow, basically the leftovers of whatever died thousands of feet above you, slowly raining down into the abyss. Not exactly five-star dining, but at this point, you'll take what you can get. You open your tiny mouth and start filtering the particles, sucking in whatever is small enough to fit. 3 weeks into your confusing life, you've eaten enough marine snow to grow from rice grain size to about as long as a paperclip. You're swimming around, slurping up more deep-sea leftovers when a sudden current catches you off guard. Instead of fighting it, you go with it, swimming higher and faster than you've ever gone. Huge mistake. Your body starts freaking out in a way you didn't know was possible. See, your tiny body is built to handle the crushing weight of deep water, like living your whole life with a truck sitting on top of you. But as you swim higher, there's less water above you, which means less pressure pushing down. It's like being built for wearing a super tight compression suit your whole life, then suddenly having someone cut it off. The gases in your blood and tissues, which were squished down by all that pressure, suddenly start expanding like tiny balloons. Pain shoots through every inch of your body. Your organs feel like they're being stretched from the inside out. Your eyes bulge. Everything hurts. This is barotrauma. What happens when a deep-sea creature goes somewhere it shouldn't. Humans get something similar when they scuba dive and come up too fast. Your body is literally starting to come apart at the seams. Just when you think you're about to burst like a popped water balloon, a blessed current pushes you back down to deeper water. As you sink, the increasing pressure squeezes those expanding gases back to normal size, but it's not a pleasant feeling. Imagine someone slowly sitting on a balloon until it's squished flat. That balloon is your organs. You just learned a terrifying lesson. In the deep sea, even swimming upward can be a death sentence. You barely got your ass saved by that current. Gasping with relief, you immediately dive deeper, seeking the safety of higher pressure. As you descend back into the familiar darkness, something catches your eye. A strange blue light glowing about 10 feet away. In this pitch-black world where you've never seen anything but darkness, this glowing dot is mesmerizing. You've never seen actual light before, and like a moth to a flame, you drift closer to investigate. Big mistake. As you approach, you suddenly realize that the light is attached to something, a fishing lure made of glowing flesh, and it's connected to a massive gulper eel, a creature with a mouth that can expand to swallow prey many times its size. The blue light was just bait, and you fell for it. The eel's jaws suddenly expand like a deployed parachute, ready to swallow you whole. You flail backward in pure panic, your ribbon-like body finally responding to your commands when it matters most. The jaws snap shut just inches from your face. After barely escaping death, the next few months of your life are dedicated to one thing: growing. And boy, do you grow. Just not in any way that makes sense. While other fish bulk up, develop muscles, and generally become more capable, you just get longer, and longer, and somehow even longer. By your first birthday, you've stretched from paperclip size to over 3 feet of living ribbon. You're basically becoming the ocean's interpretation of a wet noodle. A really, really long wet noodle. Your proportions make absolutely no sense. This new noodle body of yours comes with some serious design flaws, as you discover one terrifying night. A viperfish, think swimming nightmare with teeth, spots you and charges. You try to flee, making a sharp turn to escape. Big mistake. Your ridiculously long body can't handle the maneuver and does what any self-respecting ribbon would do. It tangles. In seconds, you've managed to tie yourself into what looks like a sailor's knot, helplessly flailing in the darkness. The viperfish actually stops its attack, apparently confused by whatever the hell you're doing. It circles you once, probably wondering if this is some weird defense mechanism, then decides you're too pathetic to eat and swims away. Great, you were so bad at being prey that the predator felt sorry for you. It takes hours of twisting and turning in the darkness to untangle yourself, all while hoping nothing else comes along to investigate the world's most helpless sea creature. Since you can't exactly chase down food with your pool noodle physique, you've developed a sophisticated hunting technique called drift around with your mouth open and hope for the best. Unlike normal fish with actual teeth and hunting skills, you're stuck filter feeding, basically hovering vertically in the water, mouth agape, collecting whatever microscopic particles happen to float in. During one of these exciting feeding sessions, something a bit larger than plankton drifts into your mouth. Before you can spit it out, you feel a sharp pain as the thing, a parasitic isopod, the deep sea's version of a tick the size of a quarter, latches onto your stomach lining. It burrows in, making itself at home inside you, where it plans to live rent-free for the foreseeable future, sucking your nutrients while you do all the work of finding food. Congratulations, you're now a mobile apartment complex for a parasite, and this is very common in all of your kind. As you approach 10 feet in length, the full absurdity of your body becomes apparent. Swimming forward requires an embarrassing amount of undulation. Turning around is a full production that takes several minutes and about 50 times more energy than it should. But there's no time to cry about all this. The ocean floor suddenly trembles beneath you. A deep-sea earthquake sends shockwaves through the water. Before you can process what's happening, the current becomes a violent underwater tornado, picking you up like a paper streamer. Your noodle-like body is completely at the mercy of this underwater storm, spinning and whipping through the darkness. The worst part? You're not alone in this chaos. The earthquake has disturbed a nearby colony of deep-sea creatures. Disoriented squid, panicked fish, and even a few small sharks are all thrashing around in the same violent current. It's a nightmarish blender of bodies and teeth, with you as the longest, most vulnerable target. A small shark thrown by the current slams into your midsection, its rough skin tearing through your delicate tissues. You try to curl away, but another creature, you can't even tell what it is in the darkness, takes a desperate bite at your tail. The water around you fills with the scent of blood. Your blood. The feeding frenzy intensifies. In the chaos, everything is trying to eat everything else. Your spin-dodging teeth and claws like you're in some twisted underwater ballet. Your ridiculously long body, both your greatest weakness and your only advantage. Your flexibility lets you twist away from some attacks, but your length means something is always getting a piece of you. After what feels like forever, the current finally begins to settle. As you drift away from the chaos, you take inventory of the damage. A section of your dorsal fin is completely gone. There's a gash along your side that will definitely scar. And worst of all, your body now has a permanent kink about halfway down. You'll never swim completely straight again. After all the hassle, you try to rest down, calm yourself for some time. That's when you spot it in the distance. Another oarfish. An adult one, at least 20 feet long, its crimson dorsal fin faintly visible even in the darkness. After months of floating around solo, you're actually excited to see one of your own kind. Maybe it can teach you how to work this ridiculous body of yours? You eagerly swim toward its head to say hello, but something's off. As you get closer, your excitement turns to horror. Half of its head is gone. One eye socket empty, the other eye glassy and lifeless. Bite marks run down its ribbon-like length, chunks missing where something huge took several bites. Yet here it is, still upright, still swaying gently with the current as if it were alive. This oarfish has been dead for weeks, but its body hasn't gotten the memo. Unlike normal fish that rot, bloat, and float belly up when they die, your kind is made mostly of gelatinous tissue that takes forever to decompose. With no swim bladder to fill with gas and make you float, you just keep going after death. This oarfish corpse is drifting through the deep like some kind of ocean ghost, its movements so lifelike that even predators sometimes don't realize they're attacking a floating buffet rather than a living creature. As you watch, a deep-sea shark approaches the body, taking another bite from its already mangled form. Great. As if being alive as an oarfish wasn't bad enough, even death doesn't give you a break. By your 5th year, you've reached your full adult size, over 30 feet of impractical sea ribbon. At this point, you've accepted your fate as a drifting gelatinous question mark that even evolution seems confused by. If you thought finding food was hard, finding love is practically impossible. Dating in the deep sea is a nightmare when you're a creature that might see another of your kind once every few years, if you're lucky. There's no deep sea dating app, no oarfish hangout spots, just endless darkness, and the crushing realization that you might drift your entire life without ever meeting a mate. On the extremely rare occasion when you do spot another adult oarfish, there's no romantic courtship, no getting to know you phase. It's basically, oh, hey, you're also an oarfish? Great, let's make this quick before something eats us. No dinner and a movie, just a brief, awkward encounter where you release your eggs or sperm into the water, depending on which parts you've got. Out of the thousands of potential offspring you release, maybe a handful will survive to experience the same miserable existence you've been enjoying. After that brief encounter, you'll likely never see another oarfish again. Many of your kind never even get that much, spending their entire lives drifting solo through the abyss, their reproductive material eventually released into the empty water as they die, making them the literal definition of dying alone. After years of somehow surviving in the deep ocean, despite being nature's most impractical design, your luck finally runs out. A massive underwater storm pushes you far from your usual depth. The currents are too strong to fight, especially with that permanent kink in your middle, throwing off your already limited swimming abilities. You're carried upward, away from the crushing pressures your body's designed for. As you rise, that familiar pain returns, the barotrauma from your youth, but 100 times worse. Your organs start expanding, tissue tearing from the inside. Your massive eyes bulge even more, threatening to pop from their sockets. The pressure change is literally pulling you apart cell by cell. But unlike your youth, there's no convenient current to push you back down to safety. By the time you reach waters shallow enough for sunlight to penetrate, you're barely alive. Your once silver skin is rupturing, internal organs failing as gases expand inside your body. The bright light burns eyes that have never seen anything brighter than bioluminescent creatures. The warm water feels like acid on your deep-sea adapted skin. The final insult comes as waves push your dying body toward shore. Your 30-foot ribbon with its telltale kink washes up on a beach. Humans gather around, pointing and taking pictures of your bizarre form. Sea serpent, some cry. Monster, say others. They poke at your gelatinous body with sticks, watching it fall apart at their touch. Most of you have probably heard that oarfish are called doomsday fish, and recently they've been appearing more often on ocean surfaces, causing people to panic that something terrible is about to happen. So let me explain. For centuries, Japanese fishermen have called oarfish Ryugu no Tsukai, the messenger from the sea god's palace. According to their folklore, when multiple oarfish appear at the surface, it means one thing: a major earthquake or tsunami is coming soon. Is there any truth to this? Well, some scientists think there might be. Oarfish normally stay in the deep ocean, but they might detect subtle changes in pressure or underwater currents from tectonic activity before humans can. These changes could disorient or injure deep-sea creatures, pushing them upward into waters they'd normally avoid. But before you go full conspiracy theorist, correlation doesn't equal causation. Many oarfish wash up with no disaster following, and plenty of earthquakes happen without oarfish warnings. What's actually happening is probably less supernatural and more sad. When these deep-sea creatures end up in shallow waters, they're already dying. Their bodies simply aren't built for the lower pressure and warmer temperature near the surface. So, while humans are busy taking photos and spinning doomsday theories about beached oarfish, the real tragedy is much simpler. They're just deep-sea creatures that got lost, pushed out of their homes, and ended up somewhere they were never meant to be. All while looking weird enough to fuel human nightmares for generations.